I'm going to show you the uses for the barn hive throughout the season. Today we're going to start with a package. It's mid-April. We have a 2-pound package. We're going to install that in the barn hive. The reason we're going to start it in the barn hive is because the nuke box is less space. They need to keep the incubation temperature in the mid-90s, and less space will help them to do that. Also, they need a temperature in the mid-90s to make comb, to draw out comb. So what we'll do first is take the frames out. I'm going to take my package, and to keep the bees from flying, I want to spray them with a little bit of water. This is just water, and I don't want to drown the bees. I just want to get them a little bit wet, so their wings take them a minute to dry off. That'll give me some time without the bees flying around a lot. I'll tap it like this to get the bees off of the can and off of the queen cage. Take the can of syrup out, set it aside, and I'll take the queen cage out. I want to inspect the queen, make sure she's okay. She's crawling around in there. I'll set her aside somewhere in the shade right there for a minute. Now I'm going to shake the bees out into the box. Don't be afraid to tap it around a little. Give them a little jolt there to get them out. It's all done. Set your cage aside. Now I'll replace my frames. Don't squish them down in there, just let them set. They'll float on top of the bees, and as the bees crawl up on the frames, they'll slowly sink down into their rests. I'm starting out with plastic foundation. Later in the summer, I'm going to use the barn box for comb production. I'll trade these frames for wax foundation. Alright, now I'm going to come back to my queen. I want to make sure she's at the opposite end of the cage than the cork. Watch her carefully before the cork comes out, or she'll fly away. Queens won't fly if they're laying eggs and they're heavy. Put your finger over it right away so she doesn't come out. To give myself some time before she's released, I'm going to put a little bit of crystallized honey in the entrance, so she'll stay in there for a minute until the other bees can release her. Now I'll put her in between the frames. I'll put the screen facing down. There's a little metal tab that held the queen cage in its package. I'll use that to suspend the queen cage from the frame. We want her in between the foundation and not between the frames. If you leave too big of a gap in between where your queen cage is and don't remove it soon, they might build more comb in there. You'll have a mess to clean up later. That's all there is to that. I'll replace my lid. And now we're starting from scratch. This is all foundation. So I need to feed them something. If it was cold weather and the bees couldn't get out and fly and pick up any nectar, they would be out of food in a hurry. I'm going to open my can, put the syrup in your feeder tray. This will hold about a gallon. I'll add some more syrup to this and open the door, the access door on the side of the nuke box, so the bees can come in and pick up the feed. It has a raft down in there so the bees won't drown. Close your feeder tray. On the other side of the barn hive, we have our notes, some smoker fuel, hive tool. I'm going to make in my notes. Today's April 15th, I installed the package, fed them syrup, whatever else you want to write in it. About, it was 2 pounds, and the date. I'll use this notebook later in the summer to keep track of other things. That's all there is to it. We'll come back and we'll super the barn hive from below as soon as they've drawn comb and filled up the 5 frames